Welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and as always, I'm as a leader of the pack. I'm scouring the countryside looking for tips, best practices, stories from people that are scaling their businesses like you, and helping to help you scale your business. It's brutal out there, isn't it? Crazy economy. Today is January 6th, Thursday, January 6th. We're doing a throwback Thursday today because there's a lot of hoopla about today being an important day. And I want to tell you this is true that today is a day that changed our world. At the time, it didn't really seem like it, like a lot of things. But, you know, over time, as it unfolded, it really proved to be an earth shattering day in history. And here's why. So I'm looking here to get something queued up for you. On this day, January 6th, in 1838, Samuel Morse demonstrated the telegraph for the first time, and this changed our world forever. How could they have possibly seen what must it have been like when he in someone's business in um, the East Coast did this demonstration of the telegraph? Now, it wasn't a long distance demonstration yet. That didn't happen for several years, and get into 1841, 1844, where they really set up from city to city. This was where it started. He had been working on it for a few years. He'd already had a working model. He had invented Morse code. You may be familiar with that. Even to this day, if you remember the Morse code for SOS, that's a universal, hey, we need help signal, dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, 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 dash, dash, dash. You just keep repeating those, and that sends up a, hey, we need help. We're over here. Come on, send in the cavalry. We need some assistance here. That could save you someday. And he invented that earlier than 1838. So he'd already invented the Morse code system and invented a working model. Then in 1838, though, that was when he did his first demonstration of the technology. Then the technology went into a working demonstration, long distance, city to city, 1844, when he sent the ever famous message now, what hath God wrought? That continued on. But think about that. Up until that time, there was no technology, there was no mechanical, electrical technology to be able to send out a communication, to be able to communicate directly, instantaneously, like we can today. Today it's global with the internet, with texting, with ubiquitous cell phones, with internet connections everywhere, with satellite coming up fast. Come on, Elon Musk. We're looking forward to that. Satellite connectivity, high speed, broadband satellite connections will be another revolution of what we can do. Today, I think pretty much we've got 3-4 generations that take global communications for granted. Prior to 1838, no one had demonstrated a way to be able to do it long distance like that. You could do line of sight, right? You could do fires. You could do equivalent of flashlights, what they had in the day, but not lanterns. But it could only go so far, right? To be able to do instantaneous city to city communication. Hey, here's what's happening right now. To especially go two ways, go back and forth. There was no way to do that prior to 1838. 1840s actually started to demonstrate it. 1860. Let's see what we get here. I got some show and tell for you. This will be dangerous. Let's see if we can get this to work. So we get up into the 1860s. I'm looking over here to make sure I give you the right information. 1866 is when we finally get a cable strung across the across the Atlantic Ocean. So now we can communicate from continent to continent virtually instantaneously. That took days, a week with a really fast ship to get across the Atlantic. Now, boom, boom, you're talking seconds. We can send from New York to London information from stock market exchanges, orders, status of what's going on with whatever you want, right? And get a response back. You go, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, we need that. Can you send us more? How long will it take to get? From a business standpoint, it completely revolutionized our world shortly after that. and kind of followed the typical 20-year cycle that technology takes to get from a demonstration someplace that you've never even heard of to actually being out in use. Pardon my glasses here. Well, I wanted to show. It's had some fun graphics here that now I can't find after setting it up, but that's fine. The thing is, in 1866, we finally got a transatlantic cable, so now we're able to communicate across. The railroads came in the mid 1800s in the United States. We had transatlantic transportation that was faster than ever, but we could communicate faster than we could travel. It was the first time that had really happened, where we could get communication going faster than we could move people, even with what was considered the unbelievably high speed transatlantic railroad system in the United States that we went across. So think about that. 1838 to 1938, we got radio as we understand it today. Television was just barely starting to be experimental. And then here we are in 2021, where we have a global network of wireless communication for both audio and video. Who would have thought? Less than 200 years, going from not being able to get communication to travel faster than we can do it on horseback, then we can move people on horseback, to instantaneous global communication, where we can have a dialogue in minutes of what's happening on the other side of the world with virtually no lag, to talk what's actually, talk with people, get facts on the ground, and, and also spread rumors faster too. But that was a day, January 6th was truly a day that changed the world, revolutionized what was happening. Revolutionized what was happening, because now we were able to communicate at, the speed of thought, not at the speed of horseback, not at the speed of a train. Could actually think about that. If you could not get a message to someone else faster than the fastest mode of transportation, it would still take several hours to get from most city to city communication. Imagine what it would be like to have to get a message from Los Angeles to Dallas. It'd be 2 days driving without being at a ridiculous speed to get the message there, to get a response back, 2 more days. To go from, I don't know, Detroit to Nashville, it would be a day to send a question to Nashville and a day to get the answer back to Detroit, with today's automobiles on the highway, if we didn't have electronic communication, which started with the telegraph in 1838 and then became functional in 1844. How different would life be without that? And now we can transmit unbelievable amounts of information. So I thought, particularly since this is a business show, we talk about business strategies, tactics, techniques, technologies. That was something that revolutionized our culture and our business opportunities because of what it did for the speed of communication. Some other things that happened on this date throughout history. This was when January 6th was the date on which Mother Teresa started her journey with her teaching that she became so famous for. There are a lot of things that happened, but just really, after reviewing more than 30 really significant activities, including George Washington got married. How amazing would that be to have been at that wedding on a January 6th? But the one that really changed the world and has forever impacted us in a way that won't be forgotten, won't be part of petty politics and rumors, won't be irreversible, was demonstrating the telegraph. The humble, by today's standards, the humble telegraph, which was just a massive revolution at the time, that made it possible to, within a few years, begin communicating instantly at the speed of thought, as we say these days, right? At the speed of thought between cities, and then from coast to coast in the United States, then within 30 years to be able to, less than 30 years after that, and within a lifetime, to be able to communicate continent to continent instantaneously to connect the US in Europe. How amazing is that? Hey, Dennis Nermella, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Always glad to have you joining us from China. Thanks for being with us. We're just talking, Dennis, about how the telegraph was demonstrated on January 6th in 1838 and changed everything. That was a day that changed culture, communication, our ability to get messages fast, to be able to talk with what's happening, to be able to do these kinds of communications. Where today, how great is that? Live, we can chat with friends. I'm here in Los Angeles, and I can chat with my friend Dennis in China. That is just unbelievable. So we're saying it's good morning. Yeah, right. And look at how we're communicating now. Now we can do live video. We can share charts, graphs, the whole thing. Right? So there's so much that's happened throughout history on this date. And again, after reviewing over 30 significant events that have happened on January 6th throughout history, this is the one that really had the most fundamental, long-term change, a break in a paradigm, shifting the whole world, was the demonstration of the telegraph on January 6th in 1838 by Samuel Morse, also the inventor of Morse code. And remember that. Here's a potentially life-saving tip of the day. Always remember ... dash 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 dash. You keep repeating those two, that gives you SOS. And it's already tomorrow. See, we're getting to talk to our friends. Not today. Our speed of communication is so fast that we can talk to people tomorrow today. You don't have to wait until the day after yesterday in order to communicate. You can communicate the day before tomorrow, and I'll be on the same page. Dennis, thanks so much for joining us. I've got to go. Got another event coming up here, another live stream to join in with. Thanks for joining us for Wolf's Watch. And remember, January 6th, 1838, there was a fundamental shift, a paradigm broke forever when Samuel Morse demonstrated the telegraph for the first time in a factory in eastern, what we call New England states these days. So, Dennis, have a great day. We are going to wrap up our January 6th in stepping back into the current time after being in tomorrow with our friend Dennis. We are going to move on, and I'm going to sign off and just say, remember that. Think about what would life be like if we didn't have the kind of communication that we have now, instantaneous. If you could only communicate, this was when it started. January 6th, 1838 was when we could finally communicate faster than we could travel physically. That was truly a revolutionary shift. Thanks for joining us for Wolf's Watch. Smash that like button. Throw your comments in. If you didn't get a chance to see this live and you're watching on a replay, put your comments in, because we keep track of the comments, and we always like to communicate long term as well. Glad you're part of the conversation, and I will see you on the